So a federal judge is blocking President Trump from deploying any National Guardsmen to Oregon as anti-ICE violence takes over the streets in Portland. Blue cities across the country saw anti-ICE protesters facing off against law enforcement over the weekend. Joining us now, Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett. Greg, thanks so much for joining the program this morning. So here's a quick montage of what the Dems had to say on the Sunday shows. Watch.
The idea that we will militarize these cities, that we will impose the U.S. military on the mayors and governors of those cities and states should be unthinkable.
This judge actually said what I think should be said about all of what Donald Trump is doing, which is it's untethered from the facts.
It's a misuse of the National Guard. They're not needed in this particular role. If President Trump really wanted to fight crime, then maybe he should stop defunding the police.
I just don't understand the rule in A, Greg, as well as the commentary. The assaults against the agents are up 1,000%. You have assassins on top of roofs trying to snipe them. You have them being boxed in their cars. They're trying to take over the facilities. If you don't need the National Guard for that, I don't know what you need them for then.
Well, I agree with you, Lawrence. You've got two cases here, same judge. The governing statute, which authorizes the president to act as he is, was broadly written by Congress. It does not prevent the president from mobilizing the National Guard for use in a neighboring state like California. Just the opposite. The law specifically says that the president can call into federal service units from any state. It does not say the Guard is restricted within its own state. And of course, once the president federalizes troops, well, the jurisdiction extends federally across state boundaries. And the judge's backup argument is the 10th Amendment, which, as you know, reserves powers to the states, not delegated to the federal government. But wait a minute, Congress did delegate National Guard power to the president, and he's exercising it.
Yeah, it's just the legal standing. And I know this is a Trump appointee, but it's just not consistent. I want to get your reaction to this other case from a federal judge. And this is regarding the attempted assassination of Brett Kavanaugh, the Supreme Court justice. They're deciding that they're not going to give him the maximum sentence here. And just to show you a little bit of the timeline, this was planned and it was meticulously let out there. You got the lockpicks, the duct tape, the tools there, the tactical gear that he goes to buy. And then, of course, he buys the magazines. He goes to the gun range to practice this, the pepper spray balls as well. And then, of course, the book in the flight, crossing state lines. And this judge still didn't want to go after him with a heavy hand.
Yeah, there was no way that this liberal judge, Deborah Boardman, was going to hand down a tough sentence. I mean, this is a judge who in the past has sided with LGBTQ litigants. So the defense exploited that. In court, they argued leniency because Roski is transgender, allegedly suffers from mental issues due to medication and gender identity problems. That's what the defense argued. But I do wonder whether the punishment might have been different if the assassination target was a liberal justice, not a conservative one. And the judge seemed to think that it matters a great deal that Roski did not succeed in his plan to murder Kavanaugh and three other justices. Well, it doesn't matter under the law. The defendant schemed and plotted, took affirmative acts to murder. He was foiled only because the federal marshals were there to stop it. So prosecutors say they're going to appeal this lenient sentence, and they have pretty solid arguments. The judge dramatically departed from federal guidelines and the mandatory minimum sentences. We'll see.
Yeah, why do we have the guidelines if you're just not going to abide by them? I'm just curious, what message does it send to the would-be assassins that are out there? Does that mean that they're just going to get away with it and they'll be back out? They just, they can plan, plot, and then they do a little time.
Yeah, that is always the case, Lawrence, when the consequences are minimal. Tends to send a very clear message that, you can act in a murderous way and, you might not do that much time behind bars. So I think the messaging here, the optics, is not good.
You're exactly right. I hope the Supreme Court sends some type of message to tell these judges this is just not acceptable. Greg, thanks so much for joining the program this morning.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.